Welcome to Talking Point with Stephen Taylor. It's good to have you here, and today joined by a young man who looks like the guy from Superman. What's the guy's name?
That's a good question. What's his name?
The bad guy. What's Lex Luthor. There we go.
Yeah,
how's it, Lex Luthor? Yeah. No, listen, Peter, welcome, man. It's good to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Namola, of course, we'll talk about that in more detail in a moment.
Sure.
But tell us a bit about you. A bit about your background, where you came from, where you grew up. Yeah.
Cool, man. So I'm mostly a Cape Townian. From Johannesburg originally, and I think a lot of people are.
Yeah.
Actually got a media background. I studied film production, so this is quite a natural environment for me, which is great. And just happened to stumble into the tech world. I previously had a media production company and started working with this grouping about just over 2 years now, and got into the Namola side of things over the last year, and it's been very interesting road so far.
So what were you doing before that? What were you, you mentioned Wi-Fi, that you're working with Pretoria.
Yes, yeah. So the group that Namola fits into does a whole range of things, not just app development and management.
So that name was already used before? What's that? Is the Namola, is that the company?
No, well, Namola is the app. Namola is the safety and security app, but within the group of companies, Namola is one element of that. We also do Wi-Fi deployments, and for a long time we did large free Wi-Fi deployment under the Project Isizwe banner. But that's where some of the focus of mine was at, and it was also very.
Are you not doing that anymore?
My focus is Namola these days, which is really cool. Yeah.
So you're the CEO of Namola?
Operations head, CEO of Namola, and it's quite a operationally intensive little beast. Yeah. And growing rapidly, which is fantastic. Yeah.
Okay, so talk us about how it actually works, because a lot of people, I show them the app and they're like, okay, cool, and they're like, they don't really take note of it. But I think if you actually get into more detail about it, and I've actually explored it, and I'm like, this is actually amazing. And like, I think it's the first of its kind, not only in South Africa, but in the world. Is that right?
Correct, yeah. So crime's one of those things that people only really take note of when it actually affects them. Yeah. And I mean, we do live in a country where it affects a lot of people. And not to say that we're trying to capitalize off that. No. We actually set out to create a solution whereby, using something that you're interacting with on a daily basis, we created some technology that would enable you to get help fast, which is what we sort of the slogan that we sort of operate on, and we are trying to just get you the fastest help that we possibly can through various channels, using technology, using the app.
So how it basically works is obviously the app knows.
Sorry, yes, I was getting into that.
Knows where you are.
Yeah. So
your location, kind of similar to like taxi operators, how they work. When you order a taxi through an app, we're not going to give them free airtime.
Absolutely. So like typical e-hailing services, the idea was born out of that. How do we take that similar concept to that and bring it to solving crime-related issues? Yeah. It's such a simple concept. Why not integrate it into safety and security? So, starting, as I said, 2 and a bit years ago, we did a couple of tests within the Tshwane area, within a certain neighborhood. The people there thought it was amazing. Yeah. We worked together with the Metro Police within that particular region, and we managed to scale it into something that was, really operationally, awesome. And the way that it worked was, you literally press a button on your phone and it alerted the closest police around.
It's like a panic button.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And that concept is great within a small area, but where we wanted to take it to, and to enable us to provide it to the whole of South Africa, we had to look at how that model could be slightly adjusted, which is where we are today. So the way that it works, you open up the app, you are presented with a very familiar interface, a mapping interface where all there is very simply is a request for help button. Yeah. Obviously, when you sign up, you signing up, you putting in a profile, and utilizing the GPS functionality on your phone. You hold down that request for help button, and immediately it sends a alert to our response center. You click one or two more buttons so to give us a bit more information about what your issue is, but immediately our response center will give you a call back. And I think that's the most the greatest feature about this app, is that somebody's actually going to call you back. It's not like the traditional problems that you have where you're phoning a 10111 service or a 112 or whatever they are, and there's language barriers. There's
That's right.
trying to explain where you are,
or they might not even pick up,
Exactly.
which is just
Exactly.
blows my mind.
And look, I mean, we're not necessarily trying to replace that. That's got its place. We're trying to help that. We're trying to aid that, take the pressure off that using technology. So what this has is all your profile information, so we know who you are. It's taking your GPS location provided by your mobile device, putting it into, and we just phone you to verify what that is. We then alert with our system, then tells us where you are, what the closest EMS or emergency services are around you. We've either got direct contact with them, or we call them directly. So listen, we've got this user at this exact location. These are all their details. We need response to them as quickly as possible. And then we keep engaged with you as a user, updating you constantly as to where they are, what their response is going to be like, to ensure, just to improve traditionally what has been a slow service.
But it is the reason why it's slow, and how kind of you've overcome that is because of your location.
There we go.
You'll phone like an emergency call center. Hello, sir. Okay, yes. Where do you stay? Yes, I stay at whatever. Let's give it I don't know, Potsdam Road, for example.
Yeah.
But now their system might show 3 Potsdam Roads in Cape Town.
Yeah.
So then, or they'll say, they don't even know. They'll say, how do you spell that? And then you're like, got to spell it. And then, but listen, this is quite an emergency. The person's standing here with the gun. But listen, let me give you my address quickly.
Well,
P-O,
Yeah.
That time there could be your life.
Absolutely, and that's what we find all the time. That is literally the best element to this whole thing, is just speeding up that response time.
And they have your phone number once you've logged on, so they can phone you back immediately. Look, I broke down the other day, right?
Okay.
So I pressed the panic button, and then it sent me a message back. It said, what do you need? It sent me a message back, and then like within literally like 30 seconds, or not even, the person phoned back and like was on the line with me. How can I assist you? What do you need? And then every like 2-3 minutes after that, they were phoning back. Are you okay? Have you been helped? And I was like, this is amazing.
Well, that's it.
I'm like, yeah.
We strive in making this, the fastest possible service that we can provide. Obviously, it has its limitations. We don't have every SAPS, station on the speed dial, but we are constantly growing our database. That includes what we, and maybe we can go into this in more detail a bit later in the interview, but also on the Mola Watch segments, which is us developing our own database of responders, and that's community-based organizations.
Similar to like On Response or what?
Yeah, so we engaging with communities all around South Africa, onboarding them. So what happened in that case is they, in the event of emergency, including the list of who we are engaging with from a SAPS or a Metro or a private security level, the community guys, who registered community guys, are also getting alerted to that that very incident. So they receive a notification stating who is having a problem, their contact detail, and a link to their specific GPS coordinate. So not only are we helping, SAPS or whoever the police organisation, they're on their way, and also your community guys are on your way too as well. In addition to that, we've also got a fantastic new feature which we launched in December called Emergency Contacts, and that also enables you to add 5 of your personal contacts.
Okay.
Friends, family, mom, dad, whoever it happens to be. And in the event that you push for help, it auto sends all of those details that I've just described to their phone as well, and they're able to engage in the conversation with our so within the messaging function on the app, they can engage with the response center and be part of that loop to ensure that you're getting the best help possible.
But also the other thing that I like about the app is if somebody is in your house, you wake up late at night, you hear somebody's in your house, you can't necessarily speak on the phone. So then you can still message the person on the other side and say, look, I can't speak.
Yeah.
I'm under stress. And then they'll assist you and they'll reply back, right? Can they do that?
Absolutely. So one of the biggest challenges we have faced with the current model is that, sometimes we get guys who, can't talk or don't talk, and we've had to come up with solutions around how do we engage, how do we dispatch, if we haven't verified what that incident is. So yes, it's very much the reason for having the messaging service within the app, so that we can engage on some sort of level where guys can go, listen, there's someone in my house, I can't talk, please get someone to me as fast as possible. And there's big scope with that. I mean, there's ways of us improving on that feature and building up more and more information for people to enable us to dispatch faster and faster. So it's really exciting.
So I mean, I know there's the normal Play Store, and then you get the Apple Store.
Yeah.
But now I know that some other phone companies have their own like built-in systems to download apps. If you want to try and download Namola, doesn't let you.
We won't lie. One of the big gripes that we do have, not huge, but there are people that are using phones that don't run on the two carriers.
Right.
Not the two operating systems. That
I think it's the Z2, Z4, those kind of phones.
Yeah. So we are iOS, Android. Yeah. Those are the ones that we currently have versions for. We don't at this stage have plans on developing any other any versions for other operating systems. It's just the bulk of the user base sits on those two operating systems.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a huge thing to develop for any operating system.
Okay.
You think anytime you add a new feature, you're developing features.
Oh yeah.
Each operating system which has its own releases and it's serious. Okay. But no, I mean we'd love to. The point of the model is to cater for everybody. So what I can say is that we are looking to develop ways that aren't just app based. So it's not just a case of users being using the app itself. We are looking at building in more basic I'm not suggesting that a USSD feature would necessarily be utilized, but we are looking into that kind of thing.
Can you go online with that?
One day we might be able to online, maybe some devices like panic buttons that you can carry around. So we're spending a lot of time sort of R&D looking at ways that we can onboard more South Africans who may not use a smartphone, who can't afford a smartphone, because this app is not just for high income earners within this country, it's for everybody to use. I mean, half the reason or the majority of the reason of why we developed this was, if you think of yourself living in a rural area where having a house number is one thing, but there aren't even street names.
That's right.
How do you tell the policeman how to get to you? You can't. I'm on the corner of I don't know where I am, and there's a big bush next to me, kind of thing. So a GPS coordinate is the best way of sorting that problem out.
So do you send the location to the police?
So we give that information over to the police, and they then are directed to that particular
Can they also log into the app? Is there like a taxi service? Can they, like you have a driver and a rider? Is it the same kind of thing for them? Can they also log in or not really?
So currently we don't have that at the moment, but there is very shortly. I can't give too much away at this stage, but we are developing in collaboration with various municipalities and certain metros, etc., systems that we are integrating with their control centers, so that they would not only have an app for themselves that we can directly forward that information onto, but they are also able to analyze and monitor what's going on within their particular area.
Awesome.
So it's very exciting. And these are the sort of the incremental developments that we're making on the data that we are gathering and how we're learning from what we've currently done so far. So it's really cool.
So what are some of the challenges that you still face with regard to this? I mean, obviously getting it out nationally, that's a big thing, right? So are there any challenges that you face at the moment with regard to the app?
Absolutely. I mean, it's challenges with anything like this. How do we ensure that users are getting good service? And we're all about the service. When you expand to a national level, how do you grow the organization to cater for that? As I said earlier on, it's the way that we operated in the past was a little bit restrictive in terms of being able to expand. So I think growth is a big challenge in how you cater for that growth, and I think the way that we are sort of adding on little bits at a time based on the information that we're getting in is helping that a lot. We face challenges with getting response. It's a big one.
Really?
Just because we're phoning doesn't mean that services are going to respond any necessarily. They're going to give a better response to us than they would to you if you were phoning through a different channel. But we obviously have built up relationships and systems a lot better than traditional calling in. But it's still a challenge. I mean, it's lack of resources. Getting an ambulance sometimes you have to wait in a queue unless we are unless it's a private service, and that's the biggest. That's a massive challenge where we face being able to give sort of private services to guys that aren't on medical aid. It's really tricky stuff.
If say big business gets involved and maybe you have say a kitty for that kind of thing. Are there circumstances where there's not an ambulance available? This is an emergency. We have some money. Let's pay for the private ambulance. Is that something that could happen in the future?
Absolutely. So, I'm going to do a little brand punting here. We do have a partner, Dial Direct, who've done wonders in terms of our national rollout. They give us massive supports, not just financially to get these wheels rolling, but also from support in most things that we're doing, exposure, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And through partnerships like this, we are able to provide a lot more than we would have in the past. To provide a completely free service as we're doing right now would be impossible without the likes of these guys.
Absolutely.
But there are procedures and operations in the moment that do assist in getting private services to those citizens that can't afford them. They stock standard sort of legal requirements, so we just making sure that we utilize those properly. But I think the biggest, if I could just summarize, all of this is, I think we're doing in the hard slog in working out collectively how to improve on a traditionally questionably bad, kind of service, and in both not just crime fighting, but also emergency medical services, fire services. It's getting, working out what's working best where, what's not working best where, and assisting these guys that are doing a great job in helping better, helping faster. So for us to be able to give them valuable information, look, this is a high crime area, or this is where a lot of fires happening, maybe we should look into this.
You can build up reports
forward. So exactly, so we are within reason analysing the data that we're gathering and seeing how we can best use that to not only provide a better service on our side, but the greater goal is to provide a better service overall to the responders within the country, both public and private. I mean, the whole reason originally why Namula was developed was to assist the metro that we developed it with to better their service delivery. I mean, that was a huge part of that, and we've very luckily been able to expand on that and offer a bigger, better service to the country now.
But I'll take it one step further. I will ask you a question about location. Now, somebody's phone gets stolen. Is there not an app that you can create where that phone can be located?
We've got to be very careful on the type of data and that we're collecting on users. We've got to be very careful on we've got to act within the legal system, POPI Act and all those legal parameters, and we can't just develop an app, put on your phone, and automatically just track your location in the background. It's a question we get asked a lot.
But it can be done.
Absolutely, but a lot of things can be done, but it all comes through getting permission from the user, and you can't just do that quickly. We need to build up a reputation for providing a great service, and we'd love to be able to give you peace of mind, knowing where your kids are, late at night, but that also comes at kids trusting that the parents are tracking them 24 hours a day. But these are challenges and hurdles that we are looking at, facing, dealing with, and going at them in the right way. So we're just following the right protocol to add on those kinds of awesome services. These phones are pretty clever. They've got systems built in.
No, they do.
They can find your phone and all that. But yes, I mean, we get asked, can you find that stolen phone of mine? It had Namola on it all the time, because I think a lot of the time the guys forget to activate these, find my phone services and all that kind of thing. So I mean, the stuff we get through is unbelievable. The stories. How
many users have you got at the moment?
So we
do you call it users?
Yeah, registered users.
Okay.
The registered users. So I think we're just clipping the 130,000 mark at this stage.
Okay.
Which is a great number for us. Any app, it's one of the largest apps in the country. But in relation to our goals and objectives of making this accessible for the entire country, it's a drop in the ocean.
Yeah, it is.
But that's a great thing. It just means that there's a lot of scope. There's a lot of opportunity. And we want to make sure that we can get this accessible to more and more people.
Okay. So iOS or Android, Namola, download it onto your smartphone and just experience it for yourself. Just check it out, play around with it.
Maybe we should give it a go. I mean, I don't know.
I think so. Let's do that.
If we open the app, so I don't know if you can see that. You can see very quickly the request assistance button pops up there. All you do then is you're holding down the button. It tells me that it's requesting assistance. What you're going to get now is just a table of what could possibly be wrong. I'm just going to say that we're doing a test right now.
Oh, you can put in a test?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I know that Tando has received my call or my request for help. And there we go.
Oh, there's
the call back. So if I answer that and put it onto speaker. Hello?
Good day, Peter. Are you speaking to Tanda here? I'm calling you from Namola, sir. What's the emergency?
I'm just testing the app at the moment. Thank you very much for the call.
There we go. That's quite cool. And instant, hey? It's like...
Absolutely. So it's very instant. But
you obviously have your peak times and...
We do.
Yeah.
So... But I mean, we always pushing our guys to give the fastest response possible. I mean, they've got, we don't, not to say that we gamify this kind of thing, because we don't, but we set them targets. They're always looking to better and improve on their, on their service. So our callback time internally is, the average there is very fast. I mean, we sort of want to...
That was less than like 10 seconds.
So we guarantee under a minute and a half, so 90-second callback, but in reality, we're sort of averaging under 15 seconds.
That's
so
good,
it's really great, and we're trying to keep those standards. If we can offer those kind of services to, all South Africans, I think I know it's a game changer.
It is. Yeah. Peter, thank you so much to you and your team, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Another episode of Talking Point with Stephen Taylor. Make sure that you are connecting with me on Facebook and Twitter at Stephen Taylor SA. Sorry, Peter, man. It's at Namola, right? On
Namola
Twitter.
App, at Namola.
At Namola app.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you, guys. God bless. Take care.